he's very much an adrenaline junkie. You know, he'll snowboard, he'll skydive, he'll parachute, he'll rollerblade, he'll scuba, he'll rock climb. You know, he pretty much he gets off on the danger and on the speed of everything. And I think his initial when the movie opens, I don't think they've been robbing banks for a long time. I think this is a new challenge to them. I think they want to obviously get rich, at the same time use their expertise in a way to achieve that. I think Gerard did a great job at capturing some really terrific young actors. I mean, Karen Cleese, who plays Alex, who's kind of my ex-lover, but she's a very tight-knit part of my crew. She's incredible. And Stephen McCarthy, who plays Frank, does a great job. Frank's kind of a wiry, kind of wild man that just kind of is interested in the same things as I am. And Otis, it's very much like a cult, you know. I mean, we obviously get off on the adrenaline and the excitement, you know, and thinking on our toes and never being really afraid to achieve our goal. And Clay Bennett, who plays Otis, is really, I think, an extraordinary new person that everybody's going to take notice of after this film. I mean, he's also a great musician as well. So there's like there's a whole bunch of talent, I think, in this movie that hasn't been yet discovered, which I think is exciting. This is a movie to go and watch a ride. It's not a serious drama about a bank robber, you know, and how they do it. It's more of a crazy, adrenaline-filled, you know, chase movie. And I think he incorporates a great sense of humor within that, and that was what I picked up on Taxi as well. I kind of met him and asked around about him. I heard great things about him, and I asked him why he wanted to do this movie, and he said, well, because it incorporates all the things that I love in my life, and also as a filmmaker, and I also wanted to do an American movie. So I thought, wow, I'd like to be in his first American film, you know. I know Gerard pushes the limit on all this stuff in a way that I think most people don't do, because he doesn't believe in really faking things. He doesn't believe in speeding up the camera to make it look faster. He likes real speed, which I think is why a movie like Taxi, you feel that. All the car chase scenes are really on real cars. The cameras are on real cars following us. It's not really too much car mount stuff unless we're being towed for like a dialogue scene. So he does it his way, and he's very much an adrenaline junkie himself. You know, if you talk to him, he races helicopters. He has his own helicopters, which he wasn't allowed to bring here, and I think he's being restricted from going full out the way he's normally allowed to work in Paris, where I think he's allowed to do anything. There is a danger to what we do, and the movie is filled with adrenaline, but that's kind of the tone of the picture. So I think that the director has that even beyond me, I think is a good thing, you know, because I can just look over and think about Gerard and think about what a nut he is, and then go play the scene. But I think his energy and his craziness and his adrenaline himself has made this movie hopefully what it's going to be, you know, which is something new and something fresh. I think this movie has a shot at really breaking out, because it's just, I think it'll have this really European kind of flair, the way it's shot, the way it looks, the way it's lit, but at the same time it's an American English-speaking film that takes place in America. So I think it's got a real shot. Out of all the movies I've made, I'm really excited to see how this comes together.
I play Karen, a detective, investigating the case of the robberies taking place in this film. This could be one of my cars right here, in fact. Whatever the hell it is, we were trying to outdo each other in one way or another, which is great because he's sort of the top in his field in a way, and I'm sort of the top of mine, and within that we have a lot in common, even though we're on opposite sides of the law. I can't remember who it was that said the difference between cops and criminals is very slim, but I think there is an element of truth to that. And I couldn't fathom anybody else playing it. It just seemed so dead on Stephen Dorff, you know. So he, as far as I'm concerned, he brings himself. That's what I see. Charm, wit, can cut you at the same time. You know what I mean? There's that. I mean, I think it's just the elements of Stephen Dorff that are really this character. I mean, I really do. Well, he's a fantastic actor, first of all. He's really, really good. And the stuff, the dynamic between the relationship of him just being this cocky, shady boss, lieutenant, and I'm the detective and I'm under him, and it's that frustrating kind of, you just want to tell the person off, and I think people go through that all the time, and he plays it so well. So you're in the scene. I love him when we're not shooting. In the middle of the scene, I just want to rip his head off, and I love that. That's like alive, so I've really enjoyed that. Yeah. He doesn't waste any time on getting to a scene or getting to a place, or most of it's jump cuts. It's very quick. It's very much driven through the film, and his style and him with Tetsu, the DP. I mean, they have a very distinct look that they're going for. I mean, it's certainly got there's nothing sort of wishy-washy, and it's very stylistic. I think you're going to get an action-packed, fun, entertaining movie. That's what I think you're going to get. I don't think it's making any sort of statement about society. I don't think it's got any sort of deep ulterior meaning. I think it's a fun, action-packed, sexy film.
He's very vain, and in my opinion probably would be arrested on sight. But no, he's basically a person who's seen that you can appear to be doing a job no different than anyone else and get extra perks, and that just happens to be breaking the law. He's very drawn to whatever is the freshest, whatever is the most direct, but at the same time subtle, because he has the mixture. He has an understanding of very, very fast filmmaking, very fast editing, but with that kind of European joie de vivre. There's a lot of kind of very good, kind of what I would call cat and mouse dialogue betwixt Natasha's character and mine, and it's kind of like who's got the biggest balls, to play which card, and who will actually make a move. Then there's a great cat and mouse game between me and Stephen Dorff, and that is fun. Everybody sees a movie for a different reason. Some people just want to see a movie because they just want to be entertained for a night. They don't really care what it is. Some people follow a director's career, and there's going to be a lot of people both here and across the pond who will enjoy seeing what Gerard gets up to in what is ostensibly a kind of, pretty big kind of U.S. movie for him.
I had this wonderful opportunity as an acting thing to play this character who is a southern preacher, stroke villain, stroke bad guy, gangster, lunatic. And I had this wig, which I had from another part of play I did in London many years ago, called Brighton Beach Scumbags. It was about a guy who lived in the 50s, and I thought this guy I'm playing, called Sir Tane, still kind of lives in a way in the kind of old world of Roy Orbison and Elvis Presley, and I thought maybe it would be a good idea if I had some kind of like resonance. Well, I think what he brings is to it a kind of originality of movement, same way as a painter has an originality of brushstroke, something that away from the norm, and that's what he is. He uses the camera like a paintbrush, and uses it swiftly, succinctly, and inventively. And also he listens to the actor. He's a warm-hearted man. He's a person of generous spirit, and he's compassionate to, how you feel, if it's all right. And so those qualities are all excellent for a filmmaker. the photographer I've worked with before is one of the best DPs in the world. I mean, it's phenomenal. Then you've got, you know, this wonderful Girard, who is one of the best directors in France. So, and that combination is very, very good. And I think you've got some splendid actors. So I think what it offers will be a completely unique look at American life.